So, in 2006, a scruffy 30-year-old American did the seemingly impossible. Starting from scratch, he entered a multi-billion-pound industry full of big players, the kind of businesses with millions of pounds spent on endorsement deals for the likes of David Beckham. He shouldn't have succeeded, really, let alone create one of the marketplace's leading brands, a £100 million plus brand in a little under 7 years. That scruffy American is Blake Mycoskie, and his empire is Tom's, famed not for its shoes, rather its one-for-one model that's become rather popular indeed. You see, Tom's isn't a shoe company, it's a movement that connects its customers with a greater cause. When you buy a pair of Tom's shoes, you don't simply buy footwear, nor are you giving away to charity. You're placing yourself into a greater good and being part of an emotional journey that you can share proudly on your feet. Where Tom's multinational competitors spend millions of dollars on advertising and endorsements, Tom's have built a business model around a social cause and an emotional story. They don't try to get you to buy a product, they say, come be part of a bigger picture. My name is Matthew Turner and I'm a storyteller who helps businesses form long-lasting and meaningful relationships with their customers. And now I want to share a quick tale of everyday drudgery, which I'm pretty sure you can emphasise with a great deal. So, back into life at 6 AM, my phone rings and wakes me up, and I roll over and do what we're all programmed to do, of course. I check my emails. Amazon deal, delete. Groupon offer, delete. Something called a Trojan Pump Extreme. I'm pretty sure I'm going to delete that one. And then it's time for Facebook and a GIF video, followed by a GIF video, and then a sponsored post. So I move over to Twitter, where I'm met by more sponsored tweets. And so I read my daily blogs, and I search Google, and I'm met by more adverts, which are apparently targeted at me, but they're not actually created for me, are they? Bed leads to the breakfast table and a newspaper, which eventually takes me to my car and its radio and along a journey of billboards and bus stop messages. More email, more Google, more social media, and I've not even turned on the TV yet. And let's not forget my affinity towards smartphone apps and YouTube gazing and trips to Tesco. This is, of course, a snapshot of my daily day. And say I'm bombarded is a bleeding understatement. In fact, if you live in a city like London, you're faced with over 4,000 messages each and every day. And assuming you're awake for 15 hours, that's 4.5 every minute, or 1 every 18 seconds. And I know we might not live in a metropolis like London, but the stats for somewhere like Halifax, not all that different. You see, the modern day human being is in flux, constantly evolving, because they're being hit directly in the face. And this is one of the reasons I love storytelling. It's the main reason I work with businesses, to help them uncover their true tale. Because for years they've focused on what they do and how they do it, usually preaching about price and functionality. And it worked for a really long time, so much so that we're now faced with 4,000 messages each and every day. So what happens? Well, what used to work no longer does. These days, the focus needs to be on who you are and why you're special. And this is why your story matters. Because it captures the attention of your customer, keeps it, and breeds word of mouth rather than focusing on a single transaction. Because we all trust stories, and they force the creator to add intrigue and conflict, which is something everybody desires. Because they're emotional, and they go far beyond the sale itself, which is something your customer craves. Why? Because we're all searching for businesses that make us feel something. Brands that show us they're different to everybody else. And this is absolutely fantastic, because you, as a business owner, are left not with a customer, but an advocate, an endorser, and a soldier in this crazy war. The Dollar Shave Club took on Gillette with humour, and at the same time created a whole new way of selling razors. They were honest and down to earth, and brought together an entire army of men who were sick and tired of the way they shaved. They didn't know it at the time, of course, but as soon as Dollar Shave came along and immersed them in their story, they were hook, line, sinker. Their entire outlook changed. Howitt jeans do one thing really well, and don't pretend otherwise. And in doing so, sell at maximum capacity of their £100+ jeans year in, year out. They took a town devastated by unemployment after major jeans companies left, and they brought back the fixation and the skill set and the passion and reinvigorated it once again. You don't need to be from the small town of Cardigan, Wales to love this story, and hundreds of people spend hundreds of pounds each year proving it. They feel part of the community no matter where in the world they live. And I know, using Richard Branson as an example is a bit of a cliche, but I don't care, because who in here spends more money on rail fare and flights than they have to because of their affinity towards Virgin, Sir Richard? The entire Virgin story is built around being different and saying no to the everyday. And this is something millions of people can relate to. And how about you and the local coffee shop you always visit, or the deli you venture into over another? Sure, sometimes it's down to convenience or money, but for me, I tend to go places based on the way they make me feel and the relationships on the other end. And my guess is, you have examples like this too. And whether that shopkeeper knew it or not, they fixated you with their story and their true USP. Now, I'm not here to save the day, because that would involve simplifying the act of storytelling into a worthless checklist, which devalues the entire point of what a story means. Your story is different, it's unique, it's 100% your own. And in a world where an idea can be stolen, a style replicated, it's one of the only things you actually truly own. If you discover, create, and share it. The good news is, you have almost all the answers. You've just been asking the wrong questions, but don't worry, most people are. And this short presentation isn't tasked with solving anything per se, rather to inspire you to think about your own story and the impact it can have on you, your staff, your existing customers, the communications you send out, and all those new customers just waiting to feel something. You do have something unique to share. This I honestly believe, and it has nothing to do with price or anything like that. It's to do with your true USP, and this is where your story lies. For some, like Tom's, it's around a social cause that's far bigger than your company will ever be. For others, it's to do with an individual like Sir Richard Branson, who has a knack of inspiring and bringing people together. Or maybe it's humour like Dollar Shave Club, or a local empathy like Howitt jeans. But I do want to leave you with some tips. So be sure to write these 5 questions down and have a think about them on the way home after the beer tasting, which might be difficult, I know. The first one is, go back to the day you started your business. What emotions did you feel? And where did you see yourself 10 years down the line? The second question is, consider a wonderful day since you started the business and the people who you spent it with. And the big question is, why did this memory come to mind above all the other memories running around your head? 3, if you had to describe your company in 3 single words to an 8-year-old child, what 3 single words would you use? 4, think about the worst day you started since you started your business and the people you shared it with. And again, why did this memory come to mind above all the others? And finally, if you didn't have a single product or service to sell, how would you convince someone to still use your business? And I know, some of these are a little left field and weird, but there's no right or wrong answer. They're described to make you think of the bigger picture. And when we think of the big stuff, lots of little things tend to come and filter through. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening to me.